here. Promise that your secret's safe with me. You're the only reason, yes, you're the only reason. Baby, you're the answer to my prayers. Feeling like the world's in our hands. Now I know that this is meant to be. You're the only reason, yes, you're the only reason I'm free.
Till the morning, you never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. To the groove and the light that flickers. We get lost in the crowd, it's getting thicker. We get away from the drinks and chatter. Haven't said a word, but it doesn't matter. Feel the air get thinner. I'm standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. Live your life within the moment. And don't go wait until the morning. You never know when it is over. All that I know is we'll get older. So let us dance this night away. Feel the air get thinner. I'm standing in a blurry dream. No one else can see us. So let us dance this night away. And we'll dance the
Hello, planners. How are you? I hope you are well, and thank you for joining me in today's live. Now, 4 days ago, it would have been 6 months since I had a mental breakdown. And so, in today's video, what I want to do is I want to look back at the last 6 months to see how I'm really going. So, let's get started without further ado. In today's video, what I want to do is review with you how I have been for the last 6 months. After I had a mental breakdown on 3rd of February, and how I asked for help in order to heal myself, make myself, make sure that sorry, I'm a little bit lost for words because looking at it now is it's a big question, is how am I really? So I wanted to make sure what happened. And so if you are in the same position, or you yourself have had low moments for a little bit or a little while or for a long time, I hope this is something that you can also do for yourself, and just have a look back and how far you've come um, along, or if you're in it, that you are not alone. So on April the 24th, I actually shared on YouTube, here on YouTube, on one of my lives, how I was struggling really bad. I was stressed, I was overwhelmed, I was really quite emotionally unstable prior to my mental breakdown. For those of you who may not know, I had been homeschooling my son, who is now 14 years old and is on the autism spectrum. I had been homeschooling him for 4 years, and I think I was just burnt out. And so I had faced a breaking point. I called my husband, who was at work at the time, as I desperately needed him to come home and really just help me out. Now, what I did was I recorded myself crying on that day, because I wanted to actually document that moment where I felt helpless and hopeless, that I knew that it was going to be a defining moment for myself and my family. Now, what I want to do, if you will allow me, is show you the spectrum of emotions that I have. So, for those of you who have been with me for a little while, whether you watch my live streams or you watch my shorts and you watch my videos, you see me, most of the time, that I am a happy person, that I have fun planning out my weekly pages, my monthly pages, and all, playing with the stationery, but that I also cry, that I get stressed, that I get overwhelmed, and I feel anxious, I get angry and frustrated, and all of that is me. And, one emotion is not better than the other. It's just my emotions. My emotions are messages to me, that my feelings are there because of a certain situation or certain people or certain circumstances. So if I may, I want to just show you that video, so you can just see the different emotions that I go through, and that you may be going through yourself or have gone through. And hopefully we can look at, the last 6 months, or for yourself, if it's a year, or the last 3 months, or even the last couple of weeks. So if I may, let me share with you this video, and hopefully, oops, I've got all of my videos. I'm Marianne, and through my planning, I hope to inspire you, give you some ideas, and use your planning not just as a productivity tool for your tasks and to do lists and appointments, but also as a way to help with your self care and mindfulness. To use it as something that to focus on, whether you're planning out your day and your week or embellishing your pages, so then that way you can focus on it, be out of your own head, and hopefully give you some clarity and allow you to get back at doing all the things that you are good at. So today I feel good, but how good? So we're going to see, because I'm going to look back at the last 6 months. So let me just quickly see who's in the chat today. I know Stan is here and he has to go soon because he's got his own live. Elle, hello, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. Chucky, hello, how are you? Thank you so much. Hello, Planet Girl Lifestyle Chronicles. How are you? Thank you so much for coming back and joining me today. Goanna, hi everyone. Yay, finally made it here again for the live. I really, really appreciate you all being here. Elle, I know it even looking at myself, removing myself from that situation and seeing myself on the outside, it is heartbreaking, but we have to remember that we should make space for all the different emotions that we have. That's what I've been learning throughout this and throughout my own journey of mindfulness and self care. That if we push it back or say that it's not good to cry or it's not good to feel the way we do, or that we should toughen up or, stop crying, then, what we're just doing is we're pushing it further and further away, and we aren't able to manage it better. So it is heartbreaking. Thank you so much, Elle. Planner Girl, you are not alone. Exactly. And what I've found when I actually shared this originally on my Instagram page, that like yourself, that have told me that I'm not alone, that, I think it's hard because we don't see enough of it. We always just see all the, I mean, from a planner's point of view, the well curated pages, the beautifully embellished pages. We don't see the pages that are blank and empty when we're feeling low, when we're feeling overwhelmed or stressed. So exactly, it's a great opportunity for us to share this with each other. So then it is not something that, is should be frowned upon. And Irene says, if only we could go back in time and get our past selves a hug. Yes, we were when we most needed it. And I think we can still do that. And, for all the accomplishments that we've had, and for all the hardships that we do, I think, turning up and having the shower, getting out of our pajamas, and making ourselves a cup of coffee. Those are the little things too that tells us that are indications that we are giving ourselves those little hugs. So yes, thank you, Irene. Thank you so much for that. So what I want to do is I want to look back and see what the last 6 months have been. So I want to see things that I've accomplished and what I've overcome, what lessons I've learned from the last 6 months, and also what things can I look forward to, what exciting stuff for the future. Now, like I know a few of you have already mentioned that you might also be having a difficult time mentally, whether you're in it now or you've been in it for quite a while. So, like I mentioned, I hope you two can step back and have a look at the last 6 months and see how you use it to grow, to get better and wiser. And I think I'm getting sick. My husband has been sick for the last couple of days. So hopefully I'm not getting too sick, although hang on a thing. Food. Oh dear, oh dear. So I hope I'm not going to lose my voice in the middle of our live stream. So, all right, so let's quickly have a look. Now, to review the last 6 months, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be using Marie Forleo's Year in Review guideline. So I actually came upon this a couple of days ago, and it was perfect time. And I always say things come at the right time. So when this flashed up on, my browser or suggested videos, I thought, hey, my 6 month anniversary of my mental breakdown. It's not normally a thing that we celebrate, is it? But it's a good way to look back. So I'm going to be using Marie Forleo's Year in Review guideline, and the 3 questions she says to ask ourselves, or to ask myself, um, on what we need to do to look back and review. So I do have that link in the description. So if you yourself want to have a look at what Marie Forleo says to review the last 6 months. So what's the first question that we need to look at? So the first one is, what did I do that I'm really proud of? So this sometimes could be a really hard question for us to answer ourselves. We are so quick to congratulate others and to celebrate their wins, but we forget our own wins. And because, it's not something, I think nowadays when you're older, isn't it funny when you're older that if you share your accomplishments, share your wins, that you feels like you might be showing off, that you're flashing around all your winnings and all your accomplishments. So we are out of practice, and so having to look back at what we're really proud of and the things we've done can be a little bit difficult. Now, the things she says to include in this is what you've created, what you've experienced, and what you're really proud of. So whether you do this review with me now, mentally think about it, or you do it at a later time, all you will need for this is a blank sheet of paper. So nothing fancy. I mean, for me, as an ambassador of Filofax, I do have all the different stationaries and notebooks available to me, but all you need is a blank piece of paper, a pen. So I've got my marker just so then what I write on here today is a little bit more visible, but nothing fancy. So grab yourself a blank sheet of paper and write along with me. So I've already written down the titles on here. And so what I'm really proud of, let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so then that way we can see it all together. So now I want to share with you the answers to these questions. So for the last 6 months, what am I really proud of? So for you, I want you to think as well. So I'm going to check back a little bit later. Think of yourself. What in the last 6 months, in the last year, in the last week, in the last couple of months, what is it that you're really proud of? Because I want to help celebrate that with you and what your accomplishments are. So the first thing that I'm really, really proud of is I asked for help. Now, this is a little difficult for a lot of us because for those of us who are working outside of the home, who are also mothers, who are also carers, and we have partners, or if we're single mums, doing it all by ourselves, asking for help is a difficult thing because it makes us feel like we're weak, that we can't, do it all, that we're unable to multitask. So for me, I'm really proud of that day, even though it was a breaking point for me, that I asked for help. And guess what? Asking for help is actually something of a strong trait. It is not a weakness. It means that you are in the right frame of mind still, that you see that you can't do it by yourself. So if you are in a position where you feel like you're doing it alone, and help doesn't have to be like, come and get me, come and save me. It's just a matter of calling someone and says, I don't think I'm having a good day today. Is it okay if we can have a chat or a catch up? So I'm really, really, really proud that I was able to ask for help that day. And also, I went to my GP, so my general practitioner, to see if there is anything that I can do, because mentally there's something going on in our brain with all the burnout, with all the stress and overwhelm, that mentally we are unable to help ourselves. And so if you are in a position to ask for help, also see if you can ask for professional help. So one of the things that I have done a few years back is seek professional help. So I went to go see a therapist for a couple of years to help me manage the many challenging stuff that my young son, who's on the autism spectrum, was going through. So I knew mentally I wasn't able to manage everything, so I asked for help. So make sure, if you are in a position, seek professional help, because guess what, here's the thing with when I seeked out for professional help. The stuff that the therapist was telling me was a lot of the stuff that my husband was telling me. It's really funny because after a session of therapy, I'd be calling up my husband on my way home, walking, she said this to me, she said that to me. And I knew in the back of his mind, he was going, that's what I've been telling you all this time. But sometimes it is difficult to take the suggestions, the help, and the answers from our loved ones, because we think they're just saying it because they love us. So it's like, you're just saying that to make me feel better. But really, again, it's because we're not in the right frame of mind to accept the help. However, professional help, as she said, was, I said, all the stuff you're telling me, my husband has told me already, and he's going to get upset because, he's going to say, I've been telling you that for a long time. And all she said is, I don't give you hugs afterwards. She doesn't expect anything from me. So that's why it's a lot easier to accept those help. So the next thing is I got up. After that moment, I got up, even though I probably couldn't do a lot, the next day or later that day, is I got up, I showered, I brushed my teeth, and I moved myself to the couch. So even though it may have been such a small action, I still did some stuff. So if you are feeling a little bit low, take everything off your to-do list and just do one thing. So make yourself a coffee, go for a walk, change out of your pajamas or, the active wear that you've been wearing and you haven't been doing anything active for a while. Brush your hair, get the makeup remover and remove the eyeliners and the, mascara off your eyes. So even if it's something small, just do something, because then that hopefully will get the momentum going. So I was very proud that I gave myself the space to be able to, have a think of the emotions, but I made sure I still did something, even though it wasn't a lot. I spent a lot of time on the couch, in bed, under the blanket, but just do something, because that will help you as well as it did me. The other thing that I did was I showed up. That is something I was really, really proud of. Here on YouTube, I actually look back on the last 6 months. I went live on Mondays, like I am now, 22 times out of the 26 Mondays that between February the 3rd to now. So I am very proud of that. I could have easily, not gone on. Now, of course, for those of us who do content creation, please make sure that, just because I did doesn't mean that you have to as well. If you need to take the break, I was in the fortunate position that I, have my husband's help to be able to take over the homeschooling and my live streams, and showing up for you guys here in the community was my own piece of healing, to be part of the community that was able to support me in my planning. You know, I didn't broadcast how I was feeling all the time. So I'm very proud of that. I was here. So I always say it's great to show up for you guys, but more so that I showed up for myself. Again, it's that doing one little thing that brings me joy, that after each live, I always feel good. And, you know, it gives me that boost of energy and positivity. So that's something that I'm really proud of. I also started going live on Saturdays from the 3rd of May, and I've gone live 11 out of the 12 Saturdays. So, of course, I'm able to look back at this is because I have, you know, on my YouTube studio, I can see how many times I've gone live. But this is where your planning and your planners come in. You know, flip back through your own pages, through your own dailies, weeklies, and month calendars, and see how well you've been doing. Because sometimes when we're in the moment of stress and overwhelm, all we see are the hardships and the low moments. And this is why I think I've never done a 6-month review like this before. Normally, reviews you know, that I do are at the beginning of a new year. But why wait until the new year for you to have a look back of what you're proud of and what you've accomplished? So I'm really proud of that I showed up. And of course, from a YouTube and content creation side of things, I'm really proud of the community that I have here with you. You make me feel wonderful, you make me feel love, and you make me feel supported, and I really appreciate that. So now, overall, I think I'm quite happy. So I want to show you how I know that I've been quite happy. So I had a look back at my habit tracker. So let's see. So February, let's have a look at my mood. I didn't even actually. So this is my mood here. February. So sort of like had a difficult. Is this the right one? Make sure I'm on the right one. So it hasn't been too bad. So that's February, my mood in February. So overall, so see how like I could have easily looked back and just concentrated on the moments of hardship. But when you are able to track your moods, your sleeping patterns, it hasn't been too bad. So the orange is good, greens are great, yellows are meh. Pink here is when I'm sad and I'm anxious. So I had a low moment at the end of March. So this is when your planners come into place. Remember how I said, don't just use it as your to-do list. Use it as a way to track how you're feeling. So in April, so different tracker. So a lot of orange, which is good. So which is really fantastic. And so flip back your own. If you have been planning for a while and you have trackers, this is a great opportunity. This is when they come in. Your habit trackers or your mood trackers or your sleep trackers aren't just for the moment. It's a way for you to look back and reflect on how you've done and what is it that you can do more of that makes you happy, that makes you feel good, and then let go of the things that make you feel sad, angry, resentful. So again, let's have a look at a couple of more. So this was May, again, a lot of orange, and then June, so only a few months back. So June, a couple of sad days in June, and that's okay. Remember, our emotions are neither good nor bad. It is a messaging system to us. Our brain's actually quite good because our brain protects us. So these emotions come along, like anxiety is actually a great thing because it tells us that there's danger, that there's something to look out for. So take your emotions, especially those that aren't happy, that aren't joyful, as a way as why is my body and why is my mind and thoughts telling me these things? And then have a review. So a couple of sad moments in June, and then in July I did move to a personal size, and let's have a look at July. So a few sad moments in the middle of July, and I think that's just, like anything in, middle of the year, and it was I made the decision to go back to homeschooling my son full time. My husband is still doing the homeschooling while he is looking for work. So, but I think it's that anxiety. See, the anxiety crept in again, with regards to how am I going to manage. But then, I'll figure all of that out when the time comes. Why worry about something that hasn't happened yet? So, I could either worry about it now and then nothing happens. So I worried for nothing, or just wait until it happens and then worry about it then. So I feel quite good. I'm happy, and like anything, emotions are spectrums. My relationship with my husband, so I'm going to put a big heart on here. Really, that should be red. So my relationship with my husband is stronger than ever. He's been really, quite supportive. Anybody else, I'm sure, would have left by now. No, but he's really patient, supportive, and caring, and just ready to support whatever decision I made, whether to keep going full time with content creation, to go back to homeschooling, whatever it is that, because we both know that it's important we support each other, because if one of us breaks, then our unit is vulnerable. So my relationship with my husband stronger than ever. My sons, I love my two boys. So one just turned 16, and the other one's 14 years old. My older son's doing well at school, and he's growing up to be a fine young man, and my younger son is enjoying his homeschooling with his dad as his teacher, and not his mum, who gets cranky too often. So and yeah, my younger son, and I are, not triggering each other as much. So this is just a quick, a bird's eye view of what I'm proud of, what I've accomplished, and what I've experienced. And what happens is, when we write it down, is me seeing all of that, is there's a lot of things to be proud of, and there's a lot of things that I've accomplished and experienced. And if I didn't write that down, it'll just be stuck in my head, and I may not have fished it out and put it down on paper. So writing things down is really a great way to slow down and to really have a look at my progress and what I've made, and acknowledge all the good things that I've done. And so, and these things don't have to be big accomplishments, so don't think that, oh, I haven't done anything, big, or I haven't had any wins. Little wins, like I said, getting up and making yourself coffee, washing the dishes, clearing the sink, those things are accomplishments in themselves. So also think of the little stuff, and like getting yourself outside for a walk is an accomplishment, where if you've been stuck in the house for a little while, connecting with loved ones, and calling someone, or maybe saying yes to that coffee date with a friend. So yeah, all the things that made you happy, and moving, and got yourself out of your head, is a win. So now, if you're stuck, guess what? That's where your planner is for. See, I was able to look back at all the different things that I've done in the last 6 months. So if you have a victory log or a gratitude log, that's also a great way to reflect on the good thing that's happened in your life. So your planners are not just for your to-do list. So make sure you use it as part of your self-care. And it has helped me a lot. And I think that's what has saved me as well, because I've taken things out of here and down on paper. And so good things that you may have missed, you might have been there that go, I met up with this person. I showed up on my live stream. So take out your planners and journals and have a good reminisce. It's really a great way to look back. Now, Elle says, yes, hope I don't get sick too. That was a while back when I had my little coughing fit. Yeah. Hi, May. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it so much. So I've just been looking back at the last 6 months, and one of the things that there is to do when you are reflecting is to ask yourself, what did I do that I'm really proud of? So that's quite a lot of things that I'm proud of. So the next question to ask ourselves is, what things did I do that I can learn from? So this is going to be probably one of the harder ones, is because sometimes probably when we don't want to criticize ourselves, because then it sort of puts it in front of mind that we've made mistakes that we might feel shameful of, or we might think other people are going, what are other people going to think? So the things we can learn from can be the mistakes that we've made along the way. So what are the things that you can change? So according to Marie Forleo, it's really important to have a look back, because whether you're doing a yearly review, a 6-month review, or any type of review, this gives you a bit of time to look back at the mistakes, so you're not in the moment. So that's why maybe doing a 6-month or a yearly review is, then you can reflect back. You're not going to the mistakes aren't recent, and it allows you to have a bird's eye view, remove yourself from what has happened, and not be as critical, and you can be more objective and be able to ask, what lessons can I learn from this? So the things to have a look at is, what things didn't go as well, and what went wrong, what mistakes did I make, what lessons can be learned, and what can I do better? So like she said, time allows you to heal. And so what one of the mistakes that I made was probably and I didn't give myself time to heal. So what I did, so when I had that mental breakdown in February, I thought, all right, well, I'm going to do content creation full time. So hubby, come home, do the homeschooling, no income coming from him. All the income is now going to come from my content creation, when I hadn't been, I wasn't making enough money to fully support the family unit, for the household, to be able to make that much money yet. I know it's coming in my future. So that was one of the mistakes that I know I made, was I put I put a lot of responsibility on myself to be able to support our family financially doing content creation at the level it's at, where it wasn't able to fully support our weekly expenses, all our bills and everything else. So I think that's one thing, is if you've had any major breakdown, or you're having a hard time, don't put yourself in a situation where now you have a bigger responsibility to make things happen. So important, allow some time to heal. So that's a lesson I have learned from that mistake, where I was having a mental breakdown, but I didn't give myself enough time to recover, to heal. What do they say? You put yourself out of the frying pan into the fire. So that's what I did. Now, the other thing was, like I said, yeah, don't make any major changes in your life when you're feeling low and vulnerable. And now we've all done that. Say yes in the chat if you've had those moments where you weren't feeling good and you cut your hair. So I've cut my hair quite. I've had my hair short, and I like for a few years there, I've had my hair short. But sometimes I know when I'm feeling low, one of the first things I do is get my hair cut. Now, fine, get your hair cut, but maybe not a big major change that you may regret. So yes, I've done that where don't make major changes when you're low and vulnerable. Yes, Irene Budgeting Mama says yes, done that. Uh, yeah, L Chucky says yes, exactly. Yes, the bangs were awful. Yeah, well, you've seen me have bangs in this, on this channel. I don't mind it, but yeah, it's one of those. It's like, why did I cut my hair? It was fine the way it is. So, if you ever see me do a major change, please ask me, are you okay, Marianne? Because it's probably from a moment of knee-jerk reaction where I've had, cut my hair. Now, Elle says, I have a no hair cutting rule, but I have done some wacky ice cream eating when stressed. Exactly. I've eaten a big bag of Maltesers, a big bag of Doritos, a big bag of Skittles in the moment of weakness. Yeah, it's okay. We can allow those cells, but yeah, that is a good one. Put a don't cut your hair when you're feeling low. That's a great one. I pulled a Britney Spears. Yep, I've done that where looking back, I've had my hair, I think, down to my armpits, and then I'm gone, oh, well, I need to do something different. Let's cut our hair, and I cut it quite short. And when it's styled, it's beautiful. When you've got your makeup on, it looks great. But yeah, when you wake up in the morning and you have this mop of hair and you look like a big mushroom head, yeah, that's when the moments go, why did I cut my hair? So exactly. So I'm not alone. So here, don't make major this don't make major changes. So that's one of the mistakes that I learned through the last 6 months is when you're feeling vulnerable and low, just stay in the moment. Give yourself some space and grace. Don't make any major changes. Don't make big purchases that you might regret, especially if you're putting it on debt, because that's not going to help. That's just going to make you feel worse, later when the when the credit card bills come. So that's one of the things that I have learned not to do. So yeah, going full time content creation from a place when it was just a hobby. So strategically, I've never intended for my content creation here on YouTube or Instagram to make the big money. It was just, I was actually just doing it as part of my self-care. When I started homeschooling my son in 2019, it was my time off, it was my me time. And throughout it, oh, people were buying, wanted to know where I got my planner inserts. Oh, I made it myself. Oh, do you sell it? And that's how it was, just a side hustle and a hobby. So if you are going to make, this is from a suggestion, is if you wanted to start looking at content creation or any side hustles or hobby, yeah, just make sure you have a plan in action where you have put some money aside to be able to support you until you get the business up and running. We were lucky we had savings to tap into, but then those savings really wasn't earmarked for the daily expenses. It was part of the savings, so I had to dip into the savings I'd put for family holidays. I had to dip into a couple of sinking funds. So yeah, I probably would have a better plan to have something a strategy or a contingency in place. So that's a lesson I have learned, is make sure you know, that you have a plan of action. So if you're not doing content creation and you're not trying to make side money from your side hustle, just have a plan. And this plan could just be a simple to-do list. Get up in the morning, shower, make your coffee, go for a walk. And then when you start ticking things off your list, you'll start building momentum to do the next thing. What's the next thing? Remove all your stuff, remove all the responsibilities that you think you're going to have, and just start off with one thing. So then it's just you're not getting overwhelmed or feel you know, anxiety coming in looking at all your to-do list. So yeah, so the other thing, like I said, is for my mistake is to financially you know, financially stable. So you know, put a contingency in place to make sure, because that's the decision I had to make, because I didn't want to put my family in financial jeopardy, you know, trying to have a go at content creation full time. At this stage, I know I'm going to make it. It's one of those things that I have it in my future. I can see it, but not at the moment. So it's really important that the mistake that I can learn from here is I can change my mind. Just because I wanted to do one thing doesn't mean I had to keep doing it just to prove something to myself or to prove something to other people, or what will they think. So the mistake that I'm learning from is I can change my mind. I don't have to be stuck in the one place just because I said I was going to do it, because I can always change my mind again later down the track when the environment is you know, the right place. So that's a lesson that I'm going to learn from the last 6 months. And yes, that out of the frying pan into the fire of give yourself time to heal if you are in the moment of your time where you're healing and just giving yourself some space. So let me know, apart from the hair cutting, cutting your hair in the moment of vulnerability, what mistakes have you made that you can learn from? And it doesn't have to be, again, a major, big, catastrophic mistake, you know. So these things I always say is in place for us to grow from or to develop from. But sometimes, of course, when you're in the moment, you just go, why me, you know, stop it. I know I'm strong, but stop, you know, pounding me with all these hardships. So but yeah, really important. Let me know in the chat, what mistakes have you learned from in the last 6 months or year that you can grow from, that you can be better at. So yeah, you know, when looking back, we do things differently, don't we? So yeah, let me know what sort of things have you done. Space and grace, love it. Yeah, and space is actually our virtual hug to ourselves. So I know Irene a little bit earlier in the chat with hugs is this is our hug to ourselves. It's that we're not putting pressure on us by giving ourselves some space. And I think what happens is when we think by slowing down or taking a break or taking a rest, that we'll fall behind even more. Now, let me tell you from my own experience that is not the case, because then when you've rested, physically, mentally, you've had good sleep, you've, you know, removed all the stresses in your life, you know, that with your to-do list, you know, if you have a lot of to-do list, turn the page, you can look back at it when you're in a better frame of mind. And when you're in a better frame of mind, you can actually do the tasks a lot more efficiently and effectively, and then you catch up, you know. And so it's important, don't think that by stopping and taking a rest that you're going to fall behind even more. Trust me, when you've had sleep and you've had rest, you get things done a lot quicker. And you just go, you mean to tell me all I had to do was get lots of rest and not put so much pressure on myself and get myself some space and grace? And I actually do the stuff a lot better, and I can see things clearer and go, you know what, I'm not doing that, delegating that to someone else. You know what, I'm saying no to that one because it's not gonna give me joy, and it's robbing me of my happiness because I'm doing something else for someone that doesn't even matter to me. See, you get more clarity by giving yourself some space and grace. All right. So, as part of the 6-month review of looking back, so like I said, I'm following Marie Forleo's year in review guideline. Her video is in the description below. So we have asked, so the first question was, what did I do that I'm really proud of? The second one was, what things did I do that I can learn from? And then the third one is, what can I let go of? So I've just alluded to that. What sort of things are holding you back that's making you feel like you have such a heavy load on you? So in this one, she says you need to ask yourself, what things are you willing to let go of? Now, so this one, what can I let go of? This one may be a little bit hard for me because I can't even throw out old boxes. I have 2 cupboards full of boxes of old iPhones, boxes of my cricket machine, boxes of my silhouette machine, boxes of laptops from, guess what, 3 to 5 years ago. I may need it. But so things with letting go, if I can't even let go of boxes that have been there, that I know I'll never use, that I'm sure have the squished corners already, and what am I going to put in there? Am I really going to sell the old iPad on eBay so that I may need the box for? So this one, if I can't even throw out old boxes, oh my goodness, what sort of things can I let go of? So let me know again if this is you, if you have old boxes in your cupboard for the just in case, because I have a lot of them. I might throw them out today. That could be my let go thing today. So things to let go for me. So this can include projects, goals, and things that have been hanging around your to-do list forever. So I have, a list of stuff. So that I have things I want to do that need to do, but don't know yet when I want to action them or what the outcome is. So let me just show you. So this is it, my list of stuff that I haven't actioned for a long time. Okay, because I want to do those. I need to do those. I want to do those. So I have lots of things on my list that I'm going to go through and cross off and let go, because I probably haven't looked at this list, this one in particular, probably for a year. All right, so I've got my other list of stuff on my content creation stuff. So I'm going to go through this and get rid of any list or any task that I have moved from the next day, or that I move to the next week, or have moved to the next one, and that stays on my to-do list day in, day out, that I haven't actioned yet. I may revisit them later, but I'm going to let go of projects and goals that have been hanging around for years. So my list of stuff, that's the other thing I'm going to do today. So tasks that have been there for years. Okay. Years. Old boxes. So this was more, a trivial thing, old boxes. But if I can let go of those, I think I can let go of a lot of things as well. Now, is it Elsa? Let it go, let it go. I'm going to let it go. So tasks that have been there for a while, my old boxes. So let me know in the chat, or if you are watching on replay, if you have old boxes, old tasks that have been on your list of things to do for a while, that you just keep moving on and saying, oh, I need to do that, I need to do that. Either you do it or you don't. So if you feel like you're going, I don't want to, maybe it's a good sign that you should take it off your to-do list or your tasks. So the other things that I want to get rid of are the anger that eats up inside me. So there's a few things that I know will trigger me, that can, derail my day. So I'm going to let go of some anger issues, that, things like, let's say little things, more so because I have teenage boys, those socks on the floor, the towels on the floor. It's like, do I really want to spend 5 minutes of my day, arguing with my children about something that, yes, they should know, they should do, but really in the big scheme of things, is it that important? They'll know it's important when they get their own partners and they get their own house. But, if I can't see it, maybe I can let go of it. The other things that I want to do as well, let go of, is resentment. There's a couple of things that really get me upset, more personal stuff that I won't share much on here, but that really eat up at me, and I feel resentful. The why doesn't this happen? Why don't they do this? And it just gets me sad, and it makes me cry. And so I'm going to stop doing that, because it's not productive. It just gets me down, it gets me low. So, or I need to do something about it. Maybe I need to speak to certain people to let them know that when you do this, it really doesn't make me feel good. But instead of trying to resent them for something that they may not even know they're doing, why am I letting it eat me up emotionally, letting it eat me up inside, when they're probably unaware of what they're doing is something that's getting me down. So I can't control what others do. I can only control how I react to it. So I'm going to let go of a couple of resentment that I feel, not every day, but when it shows up, it gets me quite upset and sad. So anger, resentment, shame, I think at first when there was a difficult decision to go back and think, oh, maybe I should go back to homeschooling and, have my husband work back full time. There was a glimmer of moment there where I'm going, oh my God, here I am changing my mind all the time. My poor husband, how shameful am I, just, putting our family in jeopardy, saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. I got to let go of that, because in the moment I needed help, and I needed to not do homeschooling for the sake of my mental well-being, and for the sake of my son, who was getting triggered by my anxiety and my anger and my frustration. And the last 6 months, when I look back at his mood, he had a meltdown a couple of days ago, but that was his first in the last 6 months. So again, I felt really upset about it, because I saw my son hurting, but he hadn't had a major meltdown for a long, long time. And that's because of the decision I make to pull myself away from homeschooling that was triggering him. So it's important that, I get rid of that shame, that me making the decision to change my mind is not something that is shameful or that I should be embarrassed about. Hello, Marcus. Thank you so much for joining me. How are you? I missed the notification. All good. So having a review of the last 6 months, and thank you so much. Big heart to you, Marcus. I appreciate it. And you and the community here are one of my proud moments when, looking back, that what am I really proud of? And I think it's the lovely community that I am building here with all of you here. And I love showing up here and having this is our catch up, even though my coffee has gone cold. My coffee always goes cold. It always sits on the desk undrunk, and have to, microwave it again. So I appreciate you being here, Marcus. Thank you. So I've got to let go of the shame, let go of the embarrassment. How do we spell embarrassment? B-A-R-S. Okay. Spell your check, people, please. Embarrassment. I can't think. Is that correct? Type in the chat if that's incorrect, or type the correct way of embarrassment. That doesn't look right. Get rid of the embarrassment that I'm holding on to by not, not getting there yet. I'm, not achieving the goal that I wanted. Maybe my goal was just too high in the moment that I was in. Like I said, making major decisions was probably not the best thing to do after a mental breakdown, and allowing myself to heal. Embarrassment. Yeah, it looks right. I think so too. Yeah, maybe because it's just in broken up. Looks good. Thank you, Al. Embarrassment. Yeah, that's the same. That's the same. Thank you, Marcus and Elle. So yeah, get rid of the shame, the embarrassment that what you said I'm going to give myself this many months to achieve what I want to do, and then you don't achieve it. That's fine. It doesn't mean you're a failure. That doesn't mean that I'm a failure. It just means the things are not there yet. It's going to come. I know it will. So uh I need to get rid of the guilt, get rid of the shame. So for me, guilt, that I'm feeling anxious about going back to homeschooling, because I'm thinking, really? You're the mother. You should be wanting to homeschool your son. You should be want to educate him. So I'm feeling guilty that I am, stressing out us having to go back to our homeschooling together, because it might trigger us again. So I need to get rid of a lot of things, and get rid of that dialogue that's in my head, that puts me down, that you're no good, that you're a failure, that, oh my God, why haven't you made it yet? Yet, that's the word. I'll get there. I'll make it there. I'll make it anyway, as Frank Sinatra says. So are there any set of people or situation that may no longer serve you, that are hanging around, that don't make you feel good? So those are the things to let go of when you are looking at reviewing your last 6 months. So go through my old list. Okay, get rid of the things that have been stuck on that list for a long time. Get rid of my resentment for situations and people that may not even know that that's how they're making you feel. Concentrate only on the things I can control, which is me. Think back. I need to look back at my little one's experience at school and his struggles. That is actually one of the things that upset me, is when I look back at the experience he may have had at the mainstream school in the support class, and it gets me really down, because if I'm struggling, and managing our day-to-day homeschooling, I just go on, what about those teachers that don't know him well, that would look at him because his disability isn't visible on him physically. So it could look like he's just being a naughty boy, and he's, been put in the corner very often and put in timeout a lot. And that just gets me really sad. And that is something I have to let go of, because he's no longer there and he's no longer in that position. So I have to get rid of that, because that's just going to eat up at me. And it's, he's, I took control. We took control of the moment by getting him home and homeschooling him. So I've got to get rid of that, and being critical myself. And that FOMO, fear of missing out, that I should be further along. So Marie Forleo says, let me share that with you, is it's not till you let go of something that you see how it's been holding you back. So you know how when you're carrying a really heavy backpack, and you're carrying it because you have to carry it, you've got your books and your lunchbox and all the exercise books and folders and everything else, your PE gear and your gym wear, and you're carrying it, and it's heavy, and it's heavy load, but you let it go. It's not then that you feel light, that you feel that you're uplifted, you know, your shoulders are higher. So it's not till you let go of something that you see how it's been holding you back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reflect a little bit more of all the different things and write it out a little bit more, so then I can get my thoughts down on paper, kind of write out what I'm really proud of. But you know, if this is all you can do when you are reflecting yourself on the last 6 months or year or 3 months of your life, just putting in those one word, that's great. And then you can put stickers, washi tapes, the fun stuff that we do here in Planning with Marianne. So what I'm really proud of, what I can learn from the last 6 months, and what I can let go of. So I just want to feel lighter and not burdened by the things that may not even happen. So I got to stop thinking the what if it doesn't work? I got to stop thinking the what if it doesn't happen? What if it does happen? What if things do work out the way I want? You know, then there's some pretty good fortunes and future ahead of me. So I've got a question for you. Question of the day, everybody. Question of the day. Let me know in the chat or in the comment section if you are going to ask yourself these 3 questions. What am I really proud of? The things I've created, the things I've done, the things I've experienced. What mistakes can I learn and grow from and be wiser from? And what things can I let go of that's holding me back? Let me know in the chat if this is something that you would also do. Come back later in the replay, go look at my slides, write it down on a piece of paper. Doesn't have to be a fancy planner. Get yourself an old notebook. Get yourself a, piece of notepad. Let me know if you are also going to look at a review of your last 6 months, 3 months, even the last couple of weeks. This should be something we should do more often, because it's a practice. Remember how I said it's hard for us to look within ourselves. I know I know Marcus, even in his own channel, had a video there where we looked at the good things. Let's write down the good things about us. And a lot of people found it difficult in his live chat. It was easy for other people to compliment someone else, but it was difficult for them to look inwards and compliment themselves. So it's a practice. We've got to do it more often. I haven't done a review like this at all. I did the review at the beginning of the year, more so the resolutions. What can I do? But I've never looked back. So let me know if this is something you're going to do and review back. And because what if there are some fabulous things that have happened recently to you, but instead of celebrating them, we've been so critical of ourselves that we miss it. Oh, what a shame. Imagine me not looking back and having a reminisce of all the fun stuff I've had on this channel with you guys. And all I think is, I'm not far ahead enough. I should have more subscribers. I should have more followers. And then I miss the golden nugget of the community that we have here. So let me know, what are some fabulous things that you have accomplished? What lessons have you learned? And what things can you let go? And so let's quickly have a look. Let it go, let it go. That's all I'm doing. Come back next week for a live show. No, only kidding. Definitely going to do that. Yes, May. Really important. So I've never, used to do it. I used to do this at each quarter, but you've stopped. Now it's time to do it again. Yeah, and they do it in business, don't they? They do a annual report, half yearly report. Because how about us? How about us as the people? Let's do a review of ourselves and celebrate all the good things that we have accomplished and learn from the mistakes that, give it a little bit of time. If you've just made the mistakes recently, may still be a little bit raw, may still hurt a little bit. So excellent. I do appreciate every one of you letting me know that you're going to do a review yourself. So that's fantastic. Now, if you have found this video helpful, of course, I do appreciate a like, and share it with someone that you also think will benefit from a review of their life. So really important. And it lets me know that the videos that I make you are enjoying and you are finding really, really valuable. So I appreciate those thumbs up, hit that thumbs up, as they say, as the young ones say, hit the bell, hit the thumbs up. Now, of course, if you are in the middle of anxiety and worry and just feeling a little bit overwhelmed, watch this video right here where I share how I manage worry and anxiety through planning. The link is in the description below, or you can click or tap the screen. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I truly, truly appreciate you.